Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now today's video is going to be a little bit of a different hunt, seeing as tomorrow is the official release for Rancho del Arroyo on PS4 and Xbox. So I decided what better way to commemorate that release tomorrow than by going with a 16 gauge shotgun only hunt. And yeah, only on Rancho. I thought this could be really fun. I've never used only a shotgun to take all of the species on a map, but with the 16 gauge you can take every single thing from the rabbits and pheasants all the way up to the mule deer using the 16 gauge. Now, it is the 5-shot 16 gauge Cuso 1897 model, and I am using the Soldado version, which is the mission variant that you can unlock. Very simple mission set, very worth doing, and I really love that variant of this shotgun. The shotgun itself is really good. I've had some really interesting time with it, and starting off here with a little piebald whitetail buck. And yeah, let's get into the trophies I managed to find with it. So one of the first things I actually managed to find was once again an albino hen pheasant. Now, using the bird shot on a pheasant was one of the things I was most nervous about, because this shotgun has got a little bit of an issue and has done since release, where sometimes it just doesn't fire and you have to hit the reload button to make it fire even though it doesn't need to reload. It's a little bit of an odd issue. It's kind of been fixed. It didn't happen too often, but I did have it happen a couple of times on some practice shots I took at pheasants, so I was a little bit nervous about losing this hen. And I did my method of sneaking in to as close as I possibly could, but when I popped up to check where she'd gone, she just had disappeared. Now, I also really quickly want to mention, while I'm running over here to investigate where she's gone, unfortunately for some reason it recorded my mouse cursor as being on screen. No idea why it did that, unfortunately, but there's not a lot I could do. Hopefully it doesn't detract too much from the footage. I really didn't want to omit this, as it was one of the clips I was really happy with from this particular hunt. But you can see there, picking up the disturbed vegetation of the albino, and all she had done was go defensive a little bit earlier than I thought she had and run into some brush. And that meant that I could just follow her along the ground with the 16 gauge and just wait for her to take off. Now, I was really slow here with aiming the 16 gauge because I'm just not used to it. This is my first time using it since Rancho released, because after I got it out when Rancho released and I saw the reloading issues that it had, and it basically lost me a couple of pheasants. I just wasn't really wanting to use it. So it got put away, and this is the first time I'm using it again. But somehow I did actually manage to get this hen pheasant. I don't know how I hit her. I completely thought I'd missed every shot, but there was quite a lot of blood. She really didn't go far from when I actually shot her, and you can see I actually hit her in the lung. Only 2 hits, but one in the lung was enough to bring her down really quickly. And the rare pheasants, both the males and the females, are rare, so I do tax these because they do look really good in the lodge, and I love the pheasants. Honestly, one of my favourite species in the entire game now, so I love filling up the small plaques and platforms with pheasants. Now, moving on to another trophy that is going to be taken with the bird shot, I spotted something very large and white over in the distance, and it is a leucistic Rio Grande female turkey. Now, in one of my previous videos, I may have mentioned that I actually lost a leucistic female Rio Grande turkey because of being kicked from the session after I found it. So this felt like a lot of redemption, and again I thought I'd sneak in nice and close and then run at it with the shotgun so that either just as it was about to take off or once it was in the air I could hit it. But I noticed that this looked a lot different to the Miriam turkey leucistics. It has some more patterning in the feathers, which I actually really like. The fact that there's a difference between them, you can tell that this is a Rio Grande over a Miriam's. And as soon as she looked like she was going to take off there, I took her down with the shotgun, pretty much at point blank. But you can see all of the markings in the feathers, a really beautiful looking bird. It is a shame it is a hen, however the Rio Grande turkeys, the rares are properly rare. Like I said, I've only seen the one other rare hen, and it was a leucistic that I unfortunately lost. But you can see the absolute destruction that the 16 gauge caused at that distance. It would be really fun to go after some diamond turkeys, I feel, with the 16 gauge. Really awesome. And I'm really pleased to actually have got a rare Rio Grande turkey for the lodge. Hopefully I will get a tom eventually, but for now this just ticks that off the list and I have got one. So yeah, really pleased to have found that. Now for this next clip, I was once again out hunting peccaries, looking for that elusive albino that I so desperately want for the lodge, and picking up all the tracks to get the fur types meant that I discovered there was a leucistic in the area. Now, I had already spooked them at this point, so I reset the time and came back a little bit later, and I could see the leucistic hiding behind a common one. You can just probably make out the little tiny piece of white above the back of this common colour peccary, and that is a really awesome sight to see. It is only a female. I do have two male leucistics, a gold and a silver. However, it's always cool to see the rare peccaries because they are so rare. So I very quickly just jumped up there just to make them go alert so that they would move around. I didn't want them to spook off, I just needed them to move so that I could actually get a clear shot at that leucistic female. It's so funny that I have managed to find now 3 leucistics and a melanistic, but still that albino eludes me. It's going to be one of those trophies I feel that's going to take a while to get, but it will be so cool when I do find it. Now, I just checked here that I could use the slugs on the peccary as well as the buckshot, and because this was going to be almost impossible to get close to, I decided that I would go for the slugs at this distance if I could just get a broadside shot on her. If it had been at the crater, I probably would have gone for buckshot and got really close, but in an area with so much brush, the slugs were the way to go. And as you can see, I dropped her right on the spot cleanly there with one shot, and that was a vital hit. That was as well as that could have gone, and I was really, really pleased with that result. But as you can see, a little silver leucistic female, which is really actually not too bad getting another silver leucistic. She can go in a secondary trophy lodge, because like I said, they are very rare. I look over hundreds of peccaries per week in various multiplayers and in my own map, and yeah, getting one of these rares is just very, very rare. I've had 4 rares out of all of those that I've seen. So yeah, I love getting these, and I thought it would be cool to show off again one of these beautiful leucistics in the video. I really, really do love the leucistic peccary. Now, I was in two minds as to whether to include this next animal in this video, but as you can see, I am tracking a max weight coyote track. And as I pushed him out of the brush and into the open here, I could see that he was a 9 legendary. Now, with this being a shotgun only hunt, I wasn't sure what ammo I could take him with, but it was actually only the buckshot that was ethical, which is what I kind of thought. And taking a legendary coyote with buckshot is an intimidating thing to think about doing. There's so much that could go wrong. But this guy stopped and went nervous a lot quicker than I would assume an actual diamond coyote would. And this tipped me off to the fact that this was probably a troll. And the fact that he went from alert to nervous so quickly, and then initially they started coming back straight towards me, which was perfect, and that's pretty much exactly what I wanted them to do, because I wanted it to be a very close shot, because I'd never used the buckshot. This was going to be the first time I was using the buckshot, and it was on a legendary coyote. Now, with the estimate it had, it was not a guarantee it was gonna be a diamond, and like I said, its behaviour kind of indicated to me that it might not be, because they, like, the actual diamond, like, foxes and coyotes will run for quite a way before they go alert and stop, but this guy just didn't. And again, I'm just double checking that it's the buckshot. I didn't want to shoot a legendary coyote with the wrong ammo and then have that mess it up if it is a diamond. But I was trying to get him to just stay broadside for long enough for me to actually take a shot I was comfortable with. But you can see he was going alert and nervous, and he'd started heading back into this bush, so I kept doing this where I'd get up and run a little ways towards him, then drop back down, then get up and run a little bit towards him and drop back down, just to gain a little bit of ground on it. And then when it stopped and gave me that sort of front quartering on shot, I took the shot and I could see it was a bad hit. That was not vital blood, and that was not what I wanted to happen. So I decided I would just investigate and see what this blood was, because it didn't quite look like blood I'd seen before, but it was because of it being multiple hits. It was in like a little circle, but he was dying very quickly from it despite that being a no organs hit shot. And that is a really sad thing to happen on a max level animal. It was gut-wrenching. I didn't like that. It was a horrible feeling. But I claimed him really quickly, and he was a silver anyway, so he would have been a troll by a couple of points. 56.60 and 56.80 makes diamond. But you can see the spread of that buckshot, and not one pellet hit him in the vitals at all. There was just almost no penetration on those pellets at all that hit him in the chest. However, my redemption on the coyotes was yet to come. And as you will see here, I picked up a 21 to 24 kilo piebald coyote track. So that was going to be a decent sized male rare coyote. And what I did was I tried tracking his tracks forwards to find where he had gone for a rest zone, but unfortunately his tracks just stopped when he got to a bit of a cliff. So what I decided to do is, because I realised I had just got session host, was track his tracks backwards back into the field where he had come from, because I assumed there must be a feed zone there. And with me having session host, if I could find a feed zone for him, I could change the time and then just go to that zone, and I should be able to cut him off there. And when I got to this little area where I had got his feed zone, I spotted a pack of coyotes, and there was one that matched the weight estimate that was a level 7. However, in the dim light, I was still thinking this didn't look like it was the right coyote. However, I couldn't see any others at the time, so I was not sure exactly what was going on. And I hadn't seen a piebald coyote since the new fur textures. I've seen pictures of them with the old fur textures, but I didn't know how different they would actually look. And I just didn't think that was him. So I kept scanning this field, looking and hoping to see another pack of coyotes in the same area, which is not uncommon for this area. The whole reason I knew that it would be a smart idea to track his tracks backwards to find a feed zone is I always pick up one or two feed zones going through this field up onto the road. And as I sort of moved around a bit, I just caught some glimpses of some coyotes sort of really close to me, but just above the grass. And sure enough, there was another level 7 in this pack. And I was trying to get him out of the grass so I could see, and sure enough, I could see that that was most definitely the animal I was looking for. That is a level 7 piebald coyote. Now, this is perhaps the most cool animal that could have shown itself on this hunt, a rare, decent size. That's guaranteed to be a gold coyote. And I was so ecstatic, but the reason I decided to include the previous clip was purely because of the fact that if I hadn't had that incident with the legendary, I wouldn't have known to be so careful with the shot for this level 7 piebald, because I really wanted to get this as a gold, because gold rare coyotes is awesome. That's a really, really cool thing to get. And I spent ages sneaking little by little into this zone, trying to get close enough to this level 7 that he was in a place I was happy to take a shot. And unfortunately, what happened was I kept sneaking, and eventually the level 7 picked up that I was there, and the whole group took off fleeing. So I followed them, and they got to a point and then they stopped. And this was kind of ideal because I was in cover where I was completely hidden, and the wind was good, and they seemed to be coming back my way. Now, what followed was kind of unfortunate because the rest of the pack came perfectly towards me and did exactly what I wanted the level 7 to do. However, the level 7 kept getting stuck on these couple of rocks that you can see him on there. And at this point, I was just trying to gauge if they were going back to their zone or not. Because if they were going back to their zone, like I hoped they would, I was in the perfect place to ambush them. Now, I did purposefully make them go alert as they got a little bit closer to that brush you can see over in front of me, because I didn't want them to just head off into that. So making them go alert stopped them long enough that I could see where they actually did want to go. And you can see I have those couple on the right come right into range. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted the level 7 to do. But the level 7 just got completely stuck. I guess his animation and pathing route was trying to take him back towards me, but just kept getting stuck on those rocks. And one of the 4 in the pack must have gotten quite close to me there, because I can see it's disappeared, and all I can assume that had happened is it's fleed, because the other 3, including the piebald, started heading back towards the brush. And I've seen this happen with animals before, that if they're in a group, a pack, or a herd, what will happen is if one gets too close to you, then flees, sometimes the others in that group will then just turn and walk in the opposite direction, which is exactly what started happening here. So that is why I decided to run out a little bit there and making him again go alert, because it's very interesting, and I've noticed it especially with coyotes and hunting them so much on the new map, that when you do make them go alert, it can make them change their path completely. So instead now of walking away, they were turned around and walking back towards me again. Now, I just wanted him to stay on this route. And I know this is a lot longer of like a hunt than I would normally include in these videos, but I've decided to keep this in as a long cut because it is only because I was using the shotgun that I had this kind of challenge. And with this shotgun, you can ethically take every species on the map, as I mentioned. Would I recommend it? No. I would not recommend doing this at all. Take a 22 for the small game and a shotgun like the 20 gauge for the pheasants, and then the 243 or 223 for the coyotes, M1 for the mule deer and whitetail and bighorn, and you'll be set. And that's how I normally hunt this map. But it was so fun to have this challenge, knowing I could ethically take this, but just trying to get it to a point where it was going to be a good shot and not end up like the legendary in the previous clip. And like I said, that way of learning on a troll legendary how the buckshot is from the shotgun is very much the hard way to learn, but in the end it all worked out for the best. And I knew that I didn't want to take a front-on shot on this thing at all. Even if it was almost at point-blank range, I wasn't comfortable with that. I wanted it to be broadside so that I could get that lung shot. That's why I didn't take that shot there. And I was just waiting for him to give me broadside, but he just didn't want to. This constant facing me, then turning tail, and then walking away, it was so frustrating because I just wanted to kill him. And then he did this, and I knew that was my opportunity to take that shot, and I smoked him. Absolutely crushed him. Only a few meters away, and that was vital blood. Beautiful Piebald Coyote. That is an incredibly cool animal. And yeah, he is a gold. It got the medal. I did get that hit that I needed to. I was slightly scared because with the buckshot, I just didn't know exactly where it was going to go, and I didn't want something weird to happen, like, I don't know, get some kind of weird brain shot, and then it's a vital, or just something odd. But no, it was lung, and it was just pretty much exactly where that shot needed to be. And yeah, gold Piebald Coyote. How cool is that? That, honestly, when I got this, I was just like, okay, that's the main trophy for this video, because I have wanted one of these for ages, and to get it with the 16 gauge buckshot just made it so much more cool. A really, really awesome trophy that I am so happy I get to share with you guys. Now, as cool as that coyote was, I really wanted to get some kind of diamond for this video. I just wanted to have a diamond with the 16 gauge in this. And coming over to this lake, the very first animal I spot was a level 5 peccary fleeing past me. This peccary hunt was one of the longest hunts I've ever had. It honestly took an hour to get a spot on this level 5 again. He just would not come back to his zone, or when he did, he was just in like the thickest brush, and I couldn't get him to come out with a call or with making them go alert. Just everything was going wrong. When I ran over there and picked up the tracks, there was 2 max weights. One was a brown and one was a dark brown. So there, I knew that this had to be a fur type I hadn't got a diamond of, because the only diamond peccaries I've had were commons. And honestly, as he started walking there at just over 100 metres, I knew that I was going to take the shot again with a slug. I'd seen how well it had performed on the leucistic earlier, but that is such a small animal with such a poor zoom at night when you've got that big glowing spotting outline. But again, at the same time, I didn't want to not have the spotting outline. And when I went to take the first shot, it didn't shoot, so I had to reload. But the second shot was perfect. That first shot not going off, that really honestly bothered me so much. But the second shot was perfect, dropped him on the spot, just like the leucistic, and that is vital blood. And you can see he is not a common, that is a brown, and a big diamond peccary at 155.30 when 144.20 is diamond. And I managed to get him at 103 metres with a lung and heart shot. That does not get any more perfect. That is a really, really, really big and really cool diamond to have gotten with the shotgun in such a cool way. This really was one of the most satisfying diamond hunts ever for me because of how infuriating this animal was. He just wouldn't cooperate, but that made it just so much more fun. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you so, so much for watching. Good luck to everyone that's getting Rancho on console tomorrow. I hope you find lots of awesome trophies, and it will be really cool to see all of the new console posts that are going to be coming out about the map. I'm really excited to see all of that. Thank you so, so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.